Welcome back to Wolf Dog Empire. It is time for the refreshed Faded Summons number 2. So it just got refreshed. And so this is what, April 2023. The birds are chirping. I can hear them chirping. I don't know if you can hear them. Okay, enough of that bird chirping stuff. All right, so the question people have here is, who is Wolf Dog gonna choose right here? Well, I love Lord Loki. I like the fact that he can copy somebody else's special and use it against that team, because one of the things I saw, and a lot of people, some people have talked about it before, is the power creep. So if you did, let's say, 1,000 pulls in the first 3 years of this game, and you picked up like Gravemaker and Magni and Aslar. So if you picked up those heroes, then you notice that a lot of people don't use those heroes anymore. They're not that good compared to this past year's heroes. So that's the power creep, right? Now they're so what happens now is, let's say in 5 years from now, and you're still playing the game, why not? You already, invested all this time, you have a lot of heroes. You still go out there and you still play the game. And I mean, what are you gonna do with Magni and Aslar? Unless you start pulling again, and then you pull up a second costume Magni, second costume Aslar, but they're still not that good. And it's a whole new summons. You still have to pull that hero. You could have just pulled Zatu, or you could have just pulled Alfrike somewhere. So why get hung up on those old heroes? But if you have these heroes from today, compare them to the heroes from 4, 5, 6, 7 years from now, if the game's still around, they're going to be a lot stronger. They're going to hit a lot harder. But Lord Loki can copy their specials and use it against them. So the harder they hit, the harder Lord Loki's going to hit without having to get buffed himself. If the heroes are stronger, he's going to be stronger. Just when you limit break him, when you emblem him up, then go defense and health. Don't go attack up unless you have to continue with defense. But one of his main issues is going to be his defense. So go defense and health. The good thing is that if you second limit break him, that then he gets that he starts off with that defensive up, so it helps him out even better. So I'm gonna say Lord Loki for me, number one. Then the game, every 5 weeks there is Undead Horde, and Undead Horde makes me want to pick Grimble at second. So why Grimble second? Why not Malosi second? Why not somebody else second? Why Grimble? The reason why is because for as long as the game has Undead Horde in rotation, you can always use Grimble. And Grimble's not just a good hero, he's excellent at Undead Horde. He is top notch in Undead Horde, I think, behind what, Scotty? So I didn't pull Scotty in a regular summons ever. I never pulled Grimble in a regular summons ever. I did pull Scotty in the first Faded summons, but Scotty and Grimble don't work together. They're not very good working together against minions. They're both great against minions, but they're not great together against minions. So I would put Scotty on defense in Undead Horde and not Grimble. But then when you want to use your first offense flag in Undead Horde, then you can use Scotty if you want. And then the second one, you would use Grimble. But there's 4 more flags. So what I would say is, if you want to improve your Undead Horde, because remember these hits are going to get harder and harder as you go because people are second limit breaking some other heroes. So an undead horde, right now you're going up against one second limit broken defense hero. Later on, you're going to be going up against two all the time almost, and then later on, you're going to be going up against some teams that have three and then four. So you will need more help in the future than now. So I would say you have 6 flags on offense in undead horde. So check how many Scotties you have, and then that's how many more Grimbles you can get, up to 6 total. So I have 1 Scotty. So I will pick up 1 Grimble here, and that's going to be 2 of them total. You can do up to 6 total of those, and that would improve your undead horde greatly. So number 1, Lord Loki. Number 2, Grimble. Then, so Lord Loki is great against Alfrike because Lord Loki is average mana speed. Alfrike is very slow. Lord Loki can copy Alfrike's special and use it against their team. So if you are going up against a lot of Alfrike, especially in Rush War, and you want to improve against that, obviously I would take up to 6 Lord Lokis in total and just use them all against Alfrike. So I will definitely take up to 6 Lord Lokis. So if this Fated Summons allowed me to take, as many of each of these as I could, I would probably take 4 Lord Lokis and 4 Grimbles, or 5 Lokis and 3 Grimbles, if I was gonna get about 8 picks. So Lord Loki number 1, Grimble number 2, and against Alfrike, if you're still trying to go up against Alfrike, I will go Malosi number 3. Who not to pick? I don't like Atomos. I don't like Heimdall. I don't like Mach R. Those are the 3 definitely don't do's. And it's easy to say that I know I said it the first time in the first Fated Summons, don't pick the season 1 heroes at the top. But if you have 2x costume Quintus and you totally love using 2x costume Quintus, even though he did get nerfed before he came out, but he's still mindless attack to target nearby enemies. So if you had costume Quintus and you've been trying to get another Quintus and you haven't had luck, maybe this is where you get a second costume Quintus here. If you have a let me see, this one here also has a great costume. Amazing costume, actually. Zemkitha, another amazing costume. Heimdall, another amazing costume. Missandra's costume does mindless attack. Inari has a costume. I think Sif has a costume that is better than base Sif. So, but I would still pick Lord Loki 1. I will still go Grimble 2. And before Malosi, if you have an amazing costume and you might want to pick up a second copy of the base, because you can switch that costume. Basically, you can level up your costume, plus you can level up a second base and level up the costume on that one. You just cannot use them on the same flag, your same offensive flag. You have to use them on 2 different offensive flags. So for example, if you have costume Heimdall, and then you pick up this second base Heimdall here, then in, let's say, in war, in number one flag, you use. I got timed out, but I'm back. All right, so let's say you have a costume Heimdall, and so now you're thinking, oh wow, I can pick up a second costume, second Heimdall, a second base Heimdall. Then you can level up costume Heimdall, and then level up your base Heimdall, and then attach the costume to your base Heimdall, making him a second costume Heimdall or an additional costume Heimdall, and then you can level up the costume on that base Heimdall, and now you have two costume Heimdalls. You just cannot use them together as costume Heimdalls. So costume Heimdall has 50% revival, and base Heimdall only 20%. So some pros would say Heimdall at 20% is not that good. Some people still like it because he still boosts health. Some people think that's just not enough because he is slow, and so some pros would say only costume Heimdall is good enough. But if you have costume Heimdall, I would recommend you pick up an additional Heimdall here, and you can level them both up. In first flag, you use costume Heimdall, and then in your second war flag, you can switch the costume into the second base, and as long as you leveled up that costume on that second base, now you're at 50, now you're at an additional costume Heimdall. So I would definitely pick up Heimdall if you already have costume Heimdall. But Malosi's great against Alfrike because Malosi does the target cannot cast any new status effects on enemies or allies for 3 turns. So he stops the enemy, the target, for 3 turns. So Malosi is very fast. So you may want to time it a little better to where if it's against Alfrike, let's say, or against Ludwig, you wait until right before they go off, or when they're gonna go off within those 3 turns. Then you can target Ludwig or target Alfrike, and now if they go off in the next 3 turns, they won't be able to have those status effects go off with them. The only downside with timing this is that if you think you need to wait another 2 turns before you set off Malosi, but then when you make a match and that match sets off a cascade of a bunch of shields, you might have them go off before Malosi can stop them. So just be careful there. Make sure that you're not going to cascade or set off Malosi against them. You have 3 turns, so even if you think they'll go off in 2 turns from now, you can still set off Malosi against them now, and then just throw some tiles at them so to make sure that they go off. That way, their specials actually won't do any harm. So Malosi will probably be my 3rd pick here. I don't have any of these awesome costumes except for June, and I already have like an additional 3 Junes for a total of 4. So I think I have plenty of those, and again I can just pick those up as I summon. So I'm not gonna pick him up, even though I do have his second costume. No Heimdall, no Adamos, no Mach R. Everybody else here is an option, but I will probably these I'm going to do a 2 slashes for an X. The ones that get 1 slash off would be a Sarnia. She's season 1 and she's slow. Let me see who else. No, that's it. I think those are the 2 slashes and those are the 1 slashes. And then I would go number 1, number 2 for me, number 3 for me. And I think everybody else is an option depending on whether you have their latest costume or not. Raphael, I almost want to give 1 slash to Raphael. Actually, I kind of will. He's a slow healer. He works well in rush if you don't have another blue healer like maybe costume. What's that blue healer that has a costume that gives mana also? Now, put it in the comments. Let me know who that is. And if you have her, then I wouldn't go with Raphael. But if you don't have any blue healers and you need a blue healer for rush, then Raphael's there. But I wouldn't pick up number 1. I wouldn't pick up number 2. I wouldn't pick up number 3 here. I would just pick up like number 7 or 8 later on when the other ones are not an option for you. So, anyways, those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions. Please put in the comments who are your top 3 or 4 here for you. And please like the video. Please hit subscribe. And I'll see you next time here at Wolf Dog Empire.